Hello and welcome back to the Spin and Rock Podcast. I'm your host, Angel, and with me today are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
You know what's crazy, bro? I'm the only guy here who has a team who's won a trophy this season. The Hornets are Summer League champions, bro. The most important trophy in the NBA season, to be honest.
Wait. Now that you mention that, what trophy is more important or holds more importance? The Summer League trophy or the in-season tournament trophy?
Oh, I don't know. There's been a trend lately where Summer League trophy teams make the playoffs not too soon after.
Really?
The Kings did it. The Lakers did it. Someone else did it. I just don't remember all the Summer League trophies off the top of my head.
Mm.
I think the only ones who haven't. Let me look it up. But I'm just saying, it has been in at least 2 to 3 years they make the playoffs.
It's a low-key trend.
It's a low-key trend.
Interesting.
Of course, none of them have actually won anything more than just making it to the playoffs.
Right.
But it has been a low-key trend.
I would just say if I'm an NBA player, I would not be putting the Summer League championship on my resume. I don't think.
What about Summer League MVP?
I mean, I guess that is an accolade, but it's it's the most watered down thing you could hoist up on your trophy case or whatever.
That is true. Okay, I looked it up. Hornets, the Heat, the Cavs, the Blazers, the Kings, the Grizzlies have all made it to the playoffs a little bit after they won, bro. The Lakers with Kuzma and them. The Blazers kind of made it almost every year, so I'm not going to count them. The Bulls in 2016, I don't know if they made it any time after that. But they have been making the play-ins, if that means anything to you. So it is kind of a trend. But I feel like they're on equal parts, low-key. I have another question, though. Do you think the in-season tournament will ever become important? Or do you think it'll always be kind of do you think it will ever get the recognition the NBA wants it to get?
Not until there's some other prize other than money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it meant some kind of advantage in the playoffs, then I think it will become more important, and players will start taking it more seriously, and probably even fans. But I think until that happens, it's not frowned upon, because it is cool, it is neat to have, but it doesn't. There's no importance to it,
Mm-hmm.
I think it will have no impact, like a Summer League win, if it starts getting treated like the All-Star game. Because right now there are teams that do try, at least in those tournament games, and there's some teams that really obviously just do not care. They're looking for playoffs. That's what their sights are set on. So, like Eugene said, if they could stress more importance on there, yeah, I think it will. It won't be something to detract from a player's legacy. It's just another one of those accomplishments. But for now, I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And do they even get a ring or anything? Or is
they get to hold the cup?
Yeah, they just get the trophy. Yeah, I mean,
and the MVP. I think there's isn't there an MVP for the in-season tournament?
I think there is. I think.
Yeah.
Can I tell you who it was? I don't know, but
I think they could do a lot of things. One, I think interconference will make people take it more seriously. Instead of East versus West for there was a point where East versus West was our All-Star game, our playoffs, and the in-season tournament. Mm-hmm. So I feel like once it becomes integrated where you can get anybody, then it could be taken more seriously. And then, like you guys said, something more than money. But also, I feel like the NBA is already doing stuff to make it be more serious, because they are starting to penalize people for like sitting out players. Like I think the Hawks got in trouble, kind of like what they did to the Mavs for the play-ins when they just tanked the rest of their season when they knew they weren't going to make it. I feel like the NBA is going to make people take it seriously as well. So at least with the All-Star game, you can't really do anything about that.
Mhm.
But with the in-season tournament, like they're fighting teams. So, and that might make people take it seriously. Who knows? All right. Why don't we get into the news we have for today? Nothing really too big. Just some guys moving around a little bit. Right off the bat, Bradley Beal. He is now on the Clippers. So the Phoenix Suns, I'm pretty sure they bought him out. Because they just that no trade clause was killing them, bro. So they bought him out, and now he's joining the LA Clippers. How do y'all feel about that?
At least the Suns could like try and do something now with their team. Because Bradley Beal, it didn't matter if he was playing or not. That contract is just killing them. And we see they're obviously going in a different direction, getting rid of Kevin Durant. I still don't think they're going to be any decent, especially in the West, but at least they can rework the team. The Clippers getting Bradley Beal. I never a believer in the Clippers at this point. They can have them. Bradley Beal might score 20, get back up to 20 plus points a game, and I just would not care.
As long as Tyronn Lue is their coach, I am never a believer in the Clippers. This is kind of like a tangent, I guess, but I guess I'm more of a believer in the Rockets this season than the Clippers, and I still don't believe in the Rockets. So that's how low I view the Clippers right now.
And I'm gonna say my thoughts for the next piece of news because it kind of goes together. So CP3 also he left his team, the Spurs, and he went back to the Clippers. And I'm bringing this up before getting into my Bradley Beal take because the Clippers are building a retirement home, bro. Like, it's just crazy. All these players who most likely will be out of the league either, if not next year, in the next 2 years. Like, I don't know what the Clippers are doing. How do y'all feel about the CP3 acquisition as well?
For Chris Paul, it makes sense because he was saying he wants this to be his final year and he wants to be closer to his family. All checks off. Clippers, not sure why they're really doing it unless it's PR or, I mean, because they have James Harden playing point guard and he's been doing work there. So I don't know. I feel like their whole team construction is to sell tickets in that new arena. Because the team composition just does not make a sense to me as a whole. I mean, they could be in playoffs. They could be in good positioning in playoffs. And I still don't think they're a very interesting team.
I feel like playoffs, at least a guaranteed playoff spot, is even like hard to say for them. Because like, bro, they have so many ball dominant players. And even though like CP3 is not known for his scoring per se, he still needs the ball in his hand to do something, to have an impact on the floor. You know what I mean? So it's like that whatever system Tyronn Lue comes up with will be interesting to watch this upcoming season. I'm gonna try and tune into some games, see how everyone meshes together. I'm not worried about egos. It's really just like, how are you going to feed everybody? Because like everybody can score, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting for the Clippers, and I guess for like this. Oh wait, who did he leave? Spurs.
Yeah.
The Spurs.
The Spurs were Spurs. I don't think they're going to do probably any better or worse.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine, honestly, without him. I think it really is weird who they're acquiring and why. He's like Bradley Beal's production on the Suns like plummeted and he's only getting older. It's not like I highly doubt it's gonna uptick at all. It might be the same from last year, but I doubt it'll be better. I have more faith it will be worse, honestly. And then Chris Paul, I feel like I think that is publicity. I think that's all it really is. It's his last year. It's not really a big amount of money that they gave him. He's still a good contributing player. Like he's kind of taking that playmaking role, like to the fullest. So he rarely ever actually handles the ball. He kind of just finds that open man. Runs the floor. But you're not expecting him to get. You're not expecting for him to win you a game. So I think he'll be used kind of like how he has been on the Spurs, kind of just like there to make sure the offense is fluid.
Mhm.
But like all of them together,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, they gotta concoct some crazy lineups, but they will probably, I think, be kind of deep in their bench because like Bradley Beal's gonna be coming off the bench. You know what I mean? So it's like if he's averaging 20, like Vaughn was mentioning earlier, if he's averaging 20 off the bench, that's gonna do wonders for the Clippers. So the sky's really the limit. It's just like what's gonna happen.
yeah.
I personally think injuries are going to happen. I think you're going to see some lineups that we would not have seen if they were fully healthy, only because they just have to. Between Kawhi, Harden, Chris Paul, Brooke Lopez, like they're such an old ass team.
Yeah, really building a retirement home over in LA, bro. And then keeping the trend of publicity stunts, Dame was also the big news was he was waived, and then not too long after he went back to the Blazers. How do y'all feel about this? Oh, also I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why he was waived is because he didn't want to rehab in Milwaukee. He wanted to do it in Portland. So there's also some drama with that as well. But how do y'all feel about this move and the Dame in Milwaukee era?
It was definitely a letdown. Obviously, we were expecting a lot more, and with injuries playing a role, not just to him but just to other people on the team, I feel like we never saw the Bucks at their full potential. You know what I mean? So it was kind of unfortunate, but I am surprised he did go back to Portland.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a scenario of the grass isn't always greener. Westbrook since Thunder's kind of been a journeyman a little bit. Kemba, when he left the Hornets, it was kind of more of a downhill trajectory. So I think him returning to Portland is good for him. And when he comes back, hopefully the team will have developed enough to where now they're very competitive. Because last season their defense was like shockingly good, and now they have Drew Holiday, and if they retain him, like that's going to be a nightmare for teams to play against. And when you have Dame coming back, he may not be the same, but he'll have the crowd behind him. I don't think he'll have the woes he had in Milwaukee, where it kind of like took time for him to adjust. I think he could just slide right in, and then it's just good news for the Blazers, I guess.
Yeah, I don't dislike this one as much as the other random acquisitions. I think this one makes sense. I feel like he truly didn't want to leave. It was more of like, you made me leave kind of situation. He didn't want to go to Milwaukee in the first place. He wanted to be on the Heat. I just think it's an unfortunate era for Milwaukee. They made a lot of bad decisions. They traded away Drew Holiday, basically handing Celtics the championship. They acquired Dame, kind of gave him a bag just to waive him 3 years later. They hired Doc Rivers, who I think is an awful coach, and fired their coach they planned to start that era with like 30, 40 games in. Didn't even let him finish out the season. They might lose Giannis, even though they might not lose him this season. Who knows if he'll stay around for it? I give it max 2 more seasons, if even. Honestly, the Miles Turner acquisition was a head turner. It was just like, why Kyle Kuzma? Like this era of the Bucks, it seems like they don't know what to do. You know, they had something special, they don't have that anymore, and now they're scrambling, just picking up kind of what they can get. Waving Dame was honestly a head scratcher in the first place.
Mhm.
So it's just, I don't know. I feel like this hurts Milwaukee more than it helps the Blazers. You know, I feel like the Blazers kind of gained a little bit, but the Milwaukee has been losing more and more with every season that's gone by.
Right. And kind of going on just like a little bit of a tangent. The Blazers also have Drew Holiday now, which should, with both of them being now on the Blazers again. Wasn't Drew Holiday on the Blazers at one point? Or was that his brother?
He was, but he didn't play for them.
Right.
he got shipped.
So, it'll give them the veteran experience, much needed experience that they need on that team. And then kind of going back to Miles Turner, like I'm surprised, but also not surprised that he left the Pacers. I'm not surprised in the fact that he left for, getting his bag, you know what I mean? But coming off the season that they just did, they weren't left in a bad place. It's just Tyrese is not going to be playing next season, which it's not the end all, or it shouldn't be the end all be all for the Pacers, but I wonder if that's how he treated this upcoming season for the Pacers. Because now, who's their center?
The Pacers acquired some rookie, the Chinese Jokic, but as far as
really do so much, yeah.
as far as anyone else, the Blazers center, I'm not too sure.
Oh no! I mean, the Pacers center. Who's the Pacers center?
Oh, it's what's his name? What's his name? Vaughn, you know the guy, because we talked about it last time.
He was from the Grizzlies. Oh man,
It's a white guy.
I was about to say it's not Edie or Steven Adams. So
basically, he's no Miles Turner. I'll say that he's a role player. Basically,
It's
J-Hub.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes. But losing Miles Turner is going to be a huge dip compared to what they had last season.
I feel like also for the Bucks, this puts crazy expectations on Miles Turner, because with Dame gone, someone's got to be the second scorer. And Miles Turner, as much as I love him, is not putting up 25 plus a game every game. That's not.
It's also going to be a crowded ass floor, bro.
Yeah, like you got to open it up for Giannis. So it's going to be rough, I think, in the beginning at least. Like, I don't even think they're going to be a better team than last year. There's just no way. Because what Miles Turner really should be doing is being a better version of Brook Lopez. But now I think these Dame expectations as the Dame replacement is going to be there, which is kind of unfortunate.
I feel like it'll open up Giannis's game just a little bit though on the defensive end. Like Giannis won't, obviously he will, but he won't have to worry about playing defense as much as he has in the past.
Yeah, he really was the defensive anchor. Now he has if now he has the guy where if Giannis gets beat, at least you still have Miles Turner there. But it's like Brook Lopez was good defensively. Don't get me wrong, like he was really good defensively. But at least Miles Turner has a longevity. All right, and then moving on to our last piece of news today, the Marcus Smart signed with the Lakers. How do y'all feel about this?
Come on, man. Bro, just like I said in our group chat, bro, the last time the Lakers signed a former Celtic guard, we won the chip.
Yeah.
To me, that seems like a little bit of foreshadowing, but to others, they praying on our downfall, just like every other season. But I love to see it. And I hope he gives the team the defensive edge that I feel like that we've been missing. You know what I mean? Like, we've been all right on defense, but we're the Lakers. We choke down the line. So hopefully, he taps into his inner Depoy nominee, maybe get Depoy as a Laker, and then all will be said and done. We get ourselves a chip.
To me, it still doesn't look right. Maybe it'll look right if I like take time and go like stare at a wall for 15 minutes. Like that was the heart and soul of the Celtics for so long, and he's suiting up for LA. Yeah, that's torture. Like the Lakers have been filling their needs. They needed a center. They got DeAndre Ayton and Dorian Finney-Smith left, so they needed someone to be the primary defender, and they got a former Defensive Player of the Year. So they're in a good spot, I would say. Especially if you just have Luka and LeBron, you have a chance no matter what. But now things just look so much better for that team. It kind of makes me jealous because I know my team's not going to be very good next year. But yeah, Marcus Smart is one of those guys who's going to like win you some games with some big defensive stops. But the dark side of that is this man will watch like Jason Tatum, like do tween, step back, fade away, three, it goes in, and he's like, I think I can do that too. And then he tries, and it's like you should not be attempting those things. And it's so frustrating to watch, but it's very fun, the Marcus Smart show. So at least someone gets to enjoy it. I don't think he would have been best on the Wizards, so at least he's out there competing somewhere.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to what the Lakers could do defensively because it seems like they're putting their eggs in the defensive side of the game. Which makes sense. They have Luka now, so they kind of have to.
We've just never been good on defense. Like even back, maybe not exactly our chip season, but even like when LeBron was like first on the team, like we would get a lead and then just choke it late in the game. So it was like our defense has never been like elite, like one of the best in the league. It's just been on par with everybody else.
So yeah, with the pickup of Smart and Ayton, who hopefully puts in some effort because he is a good player. He just doesn't put in any effort.
I'm not a believer, bro.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally understand why because you watch Blazer games and he is literally setting up lazy screens that like and he's just not really the and putting the effort type of guy. So if he does put in the effort and he does lock in defensively, y'all might have the best defense you've seen since Shaq and Kobe. But but I don't think that will happen. I don't think it. You go to a team like the Lakers and it's very rare. We don't see it all often with teams like guys lock in. If you're a lazy guy, just because you go to a bigger market doesn't mean you'll actually put in the effort now. Oftentimes you become more lazy when you're in a big market. So I just feel like the Smart pickup is more exciting than anything else. And defensively, you will improve. It's just how much more and what that ceiling will look like. All right. Well, why don't we get into our main topic? But before that, it is officially our off-season part of the show. So that means the hot seat is back. So if you haven't been with us before in the past during off season, to keep things kind of elongated, more interesting, we have hot seat topics during this time of the year. And basically, what this is a topic I know, but they don't, and kind of puts them on the spot of trying to think of something pretty quickly. And right off the bat, we are talking about the 2025 draft class. So my hot seat topic of this episode is. Will the top three picks be as good as everyone's saying they are? Cooper Flagg is expected to be the next face of the league. Dylan Harper is expected to take the Spurs to the next level. DJ Edgecombe is expected to be the missing piece for the Sixers. Will these guys live up to those expectations? Or do you think it will be another, kind of situation where the lights are too bright?
I think the first two are a lot for Destin to be a great player. but I've seen the Sixers botch potential star players before. So if there's gonna be a quote unquote bust, it would be VJ Edgecombe. And like from everything I've seen, like there's nothing to indicate that, but bro, Markel Fultz, Ben Simmons, everything
Jahlil
through the
Okafor.
trust the process era, yeah. It's like they aren't there to, develop so much as like luck out.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Sixers luck out.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with that. Cooper Flag dropped like 30 in his first summer league game, and they sat him the rest of the time. Dylan Harper has been a solid player for his entire career so far, college and so on. But I think VJ Edgecombe is the question mark here, because like I feel like when I first saw the report saying like that he wasn't going to play in the first summer league game, I was like, are we looking at a Markel Fultz situation here? Like, are we going through trust process 2.0? So hopefully not, but we'll see. I don't know what the player development is doing with the Sixers, but somebody need to get fired.
Yeah, Cooper Flag, I feel like, this is, Zion, Wemby. We've had a lot of these next faces of the league guys all throughout these past years. And I feel like Cooper Flag is not the first one because Wemby lived up to the hype so far, but is one of those guys where he's showing flashes that he really is everything that everyone has been saying. He has that mid-range game that, like, it seems like at this point having a midi is valuable again. He can shoot the three, he can defend. It seems like he has the makings of, okay, I am the face of a franchise and I can be the face of the league. Dylan Harper, any Spurs draft pick that's above 10, they do good, bro. Like, it's insane. They can make even like the roughest picks into a role player, some form of contribution. So I feel like he's in a perfect situation already. He already is a really good player and is already showing that, like, I am who they say I am. But now he also has a really, really good organization behind it. So it's almost like he's destined to be, just as good. But like you guys have saying, BJ Edgecombe is an explosive athlete. And not only that, but that's kind of his biggest trait. And I feel like the Sixers just don't know what to do with guys like that. Joel Embiid was a technical guy, but even him, because he's so big and is so, he can move so well, he's injured all the time, and his injury are really solved on the Sixers. I feel like their medical team is the worst part of their organization. So I feel like all it takes is for him to make one bad move, leg injury, and now he's never the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what happened with Fultz. Ben Simmons was a back injury. Joel Okafor was an injury. Joel Embiid, there's rumors saying he might retire if he doesn't get better. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of worried about his development. I mean, Jerry McKay got injured.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, dude. They need to like find a new medical staff over there in Philadelphia.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody need to get fired, bro.
All right. Well, why don't we get into it? So we have each have one first round pick, and we each have a second round pick, and then we'll go into our teams. So why don't we start with our first round pick? Who do y'all want to pick us off with?
I got you. So since nobody cares about this team and is willing to look at this team, this team, but is one of these teams that nobody cares about, I did my due diligence watching Summer League, and I watched this team. Only one game. The Washington Wizards. Now they got some prospects, they got some good people on their team. But now for our viewers, we weren't allowed to pick a top 3 pick. But I went ahead and chose number 6, Trey Johnson. And he stood out to me against it was Phoenix. It was Phoenix. Because he's 19, I think. Super silky shot, sees the floor well. But I think his biggest hole right now is just defense. I feel like all of his highlights come on the offensive end, and there's not much defense. Now they do have some defensive players on their team, so that might be a reason as to why he's not playing as hard defensively. But a really great shooter. Let me see if I have his stats up. I think I do. Summer league stats. He played 2 games, averaged basically 20 points and 3 rebounds. Yeah, 3 rebounds. 19 years old, like 6'5" guard. Shoots really well. He shot, what am I looking at here? He shot 58% from the field and 45% from the 3. On 20 points per game in those 2 games. So, being as young as he is, the sky's the limit. So hopefully he stays healthy, finds himself in the Washington lineup rotation, and he gets some minutes. But I like Trey Johnson a lot.
Yeah, just looking over his highlights, he kind of reminds me, as an athlete, like a taller John Morant almost. But like, you can see early on, his jump shot is just like you said, way more developed. But pick 6 on the Wizards, I feel like he has to get the playing time.
Yeah.
Like as management, you would kind of like fail like your player development if you're like, nah, he's coming off the bench playing 15 minutes a game. Like, I feel like we will see a lot of him because like, what do they have to lose playing their rookie?
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless the Wizards are gonna be the Wizards and just botch everything, but at least maybe they have a chance at getting a player as electric as Bradley Beal was through the years, at least the earlier years. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I like it as well. Yeah, like you said, the Wizards weren't going to get much attention either way. But I think the offensive part of his game, like it's very rare to see a guy who, goes to that next level and is almost like he still took no time to get used to it. Like he almost instantly started producing the second he hit the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And like his offensive showing is really, really promising. All around, I feel like the Wizards' young guys throughout the entire summer league, they all put on a good showing. It's just, will that translate into the regular season? Because I feel like the thing that stood out the most is how efficient he was. So if he can keep that efficiency into the regular season, I think he'll be a great piece of the Wizards. Just someone who's reliable and can keep, like, if you need a bucket, give it to him and he'll get you one without, floundering around and shooting, below average, getting there.
Right.
But it seems like he'll be a very efficient and explosive offensive guy, which I feel like is what the Wizards need. They never really, ever since John Wall and Bradley Beal, they never had that guy who could be a consistent,
like an actual bucket. Yeah.
Jordan Poole. Inconsistency was his, like, that is Jordan Poole.
That's his middle name, bro.
Yeah. So an efficient bucket getter is going to be really valuable to the Wizards.
Okay.
You want me to do the next one?
No, I got mine pulled up.
Okay.
So my first rounder, 14th pick, Carter Bryant to the Spurs.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not the first guy to sing the praises of this man, but there's a reason why he's getting so much attention. And he's a defensive monster. In Summer League, he was eating people alive. Like, he's going to fit perfectly in the system. Because even like among all the other young guys. I think if you just had him like a pure defender, like he could be this team's Lou Dort or Kason Wallace. Or like this whole young core is shaken out to be the same exact feeling I had the Thunder like 2 years ago. And I think the Thunder had the blueprint then, and I think the Spurs today have their blueprint now. And they just picked well between Stephon Castle, uh, obviously Carter Bryant, and
Dylan.
then Dylan Harper, all around Wemby, and they still have De'Aaron Fox. Bro, like maybe this year isn't like they're going crazy up in the standings, but I think we're gonna see like flashes of the team that is to come.
Yeah. I think. Sorry, go on.
No, you got it. You got it.
I think he is one of those prospects where you're like, oh, I can't wait to see how he'll look 3 years from now, because he's already a good defensive player. His offensive capabilities are semi-lacking, but like he can definitely fix that. And that's what makes a guy like that scary, is when you're already, really good in one area, fixing another area shouldn't be too hard. And like, especially on the Spurs, I don't think they need him to be an offensive guy right away. Like he can be that defensive, kind of anchor on that team for a little bit, the perimeter defender, and then take his time to develop some form of offensive weapon. And that'll just make him scary once the Spurs fully develop, because imagine getting guarded, on the perimeter by him. You barely make it past him, and now you got Wemby, bro. Like defensively, they might be like scary as hell, bro. Like they might be a really scary defensive team. And offensively, like you said, they have the Aaron Fox. Wemby's already like showing he can be an offensive weapon. If he can find some form of offensive weapon, become a 3-and-D, become just a slasher in some way, this Spurs team might be the next young team to take over the league. They might be the next Pacers, the next Thunder. But it's just we have to wait to see with that. But all around, he's going to be a good contributor to them. And the Spurs have a lot of faith in him. And when the Spurs have faith in you, bro, you're set. Like we've seen it before.
Hey, bro. Give it like 3 or 4 more years, bro. We might see a championship contender. Defense, we all know defense wins championships. Now think about who they have. We already listed some of them. Wemby, him, they got Sochan, they got Keldon Johnson. Like, bro, first of all, they got length. Second of all of them can play defense in some sort of capacity, which is obviously scary. Because I remember the Bucks, like way back when, they were like the longest team to have the longest wingspan of a team in like the NBA at one point or something like that. But I think we might be starting to see that in the Spurs. Lots of defense. I don't know anything about his offense. But he was like one of the first highlights that I seen on Instagram of the summer league, like him just clamping fools up. So definitely a lot of potential. And honestly, he will probably adapt an offensive game, but I don't think he really needs to focus on that. You know what I mean? Particularly on the Spurs. If he's like a Dennis Rodman, that's all they need. You know what I mean? Just like a good hustle player, willing to get down and dirty, which it already seems like he's willing to do. You know what I mean? So, all the intangibles, things like that. But yeah, he definitely looks like a good player right now and is very NBA ready.
Yeah, I know in college he kind of had a reputation of being like the 3-and-D role, but that college and NBA is different. But I think if he does go full 3-and-D, like we know the defense is valuable, but does go 3-and-D like a Lou Dort, yeah, man, it's over.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you brought it up too. Like they like Eugene said it. They have defensive capabilities in every area, bro. They got Wemby in the paint. They got Jeremy on that off-ball pass kind of guy, and now they have Carter Bryant, who looks like a defend any position kind of guy. Like that's what he gives. It's like I'll defend point guard to the center, and like with ease, like as well. Like I won't struggle with any of the positions. And it just seems like defensively the Spurs are set, bro. Like you might not score 100 on this team, like and so if they like, I know the offensive part of his game is like you're right. It doesn't need to be developed now, but if he can become a 3-and-D in the future, bro, that's Eugene said it. They could be a championship contender, and
In
it's
4 years.
yeah,
On
like,
it.
it's scary how their rookies are looking and their young guys are looking. And now they have De'Aaron Fox, so they have a strong vet as well that can control this team and keep this team on track. Keep them from making dumb mistakes. Like, bro, it's looking like it might be wraps for the league in like 4 years. All right. So I had a guy coming into this episode last week, but some things happened. I might bring him up during our honorable mentions. But I have a new guy. Every year I bring up a Colorado player, and usually it's during my second round talk. This year, bro, we have a first rounder from CSU who's looking like he can actually contribute, and that's Nate Clifford, bro. That man is he was drafted by, I'm pretty sure he was drafted by I know he's on the Kings now, but he was drafted by the Thunder at first. He was traded to the Kings, and I think that's a perfect spot for him because he's a playmaker, bro. And that's what the Kings need, bro. They don't have a solid point guard. They don't have a playmaker on that team. Now, honestly, I don't think he'll step up right away, but there's a reason why he was on that all-summer league first team, bro. They went to the finals against the Hornets. He had 15 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He was shooting from the 3. Like, everything about him sounds like the perfect fit for the Kings. I just hope he pans out, bro, and they don't do something stupid because I'm really excited about what he could be. Because he looks like an ultimate playmaker, bro. He was pulling up some insane playmaking highlights.
Yeah. I didn't know much about him until reading a little bit. He's played 5 years in college, so I think he should at least be a contributor day one of something.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't rely heavily on him, but he should be getting playing time. You're the Kings. You have no playmaking going on whatsoever, unless you're like giving DeMar DeRozan the ball. And I'm like, that if he's running the offense, something's wrong. But yeah, I can't argue against that pick. The Kings need something, and he might be it.
Hopefully this is a Tyrese 2.0 where they don't trade him. You know what I mean? Like they just develop him, try and help him, reach whatever potential that they think he can reach. Because like Vaughn said, you don't want DeRozan playmaking because his playmaking is just gonna pull up at the elbow and shoot. You don't want Zach LaVine playmaking. Even though he's like a little bit of a playmaker, but that's not his primary role. But yeah, playmaker would definitely change the Kings' whole outlook on the games that they play, basically. So hopefully the Kings don't mess this one up.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree that he should be contributing from day one because it seems like right now he's kind of like everything the Kings need. He's a playmaker, can shoot the 3, and he can somewhat play defense. But will he? That's up to the Kings. And I think like the sooner he plays, the better for him because playmaking, you get better with experience, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a solid playmaker coming out of college, but you're on the bench, for the first half of the season, you're gonna make mistakes in that second half, and that could really hurt your stock. I feel like he needs to get on the floor right away, so that way he can learn faster. All right. Any honorable mentions?
I mean, we've kind of already talked about Hanson Yang before.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to get deep into it. That was my backup. But yeah.
I did come into this thinking I was going to talk about Derek Queen last week. But he was showing some really poor defensive effort, and I didn't want to bring him up for my pick because I feel like Nick Clifford is not getting the recognition. But I am excited about Derek Queen. I hope he does pick it up and show some effort on there because he is an all-around big guy who can score pretty freely. But it's when you're a big man who can't play defense, bro. That's a recipe for disaster, especially for a team like the Pelicans.
Right. Oh, actually, I haven't watched much of his summer league, so I don't know about him as much. But Jeremiah Fears on the Pelicans looks good. He's just not going to probably play a whole lot because they have so many guards.
Yeah. I like that pick too. I'm excited for this class all around, bro. I feel like a lot of these first round guys can be a contributor right off the bat. All right. Second rounders. Who wants to kick us off in the second round?
I got one. So the very beginning of the second round, 31st pick to the Suns is Rasheer Fleming. The Suns have so many question marks for their center position. Mark Williams always injured. Nick Richards, same deal. They drafted Kaman Malak, I think. He's 7 feet tall. Maybe he is their go-to center. But the one guy whose skill set I think would really complement, especially Devin Booker, giving him space, would be Rasheer Fleming. He's a three-point shooting big man, known to be a very good help defender in college. And, not the stat popper, but I think that's a good thing because I don't think he takes away from any other player. Like, he's not going to be out here looking to be the star of the show. I think he'll be more of a solid role player and what the Suns need than the other centers. Maybe those centers do pan out, but I at least have some hope for Rasheer Fleming.
I've heard of him, haven't watched much of him. What you said he's a big man?
Yeah, like he's 6'8", but he plays the center spot a lot of the time.
That's interesting. So we got a Kevon Looney situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his highlights right now. He's quick. So if they put him at center or even power forward,
yeah, they definitely could.
He can get, if he gets beat, he can get back, in position and get a block off pretty quick. So, and then I guess that would pose a mismatch as well. 6'8" versus 7 foot. Like, you could do a lot with that. It would just be interesting to see because obviously all of these rookies are small compared to NBA talent, but it'll be interesting to see going deeper into his career, if he gains size or not, because these African fools don't.
Yeah, bro. I think he's one of the biggest deals of the second round, if not the biggest deal of the second round. I mean, of course, he went first in the second round, but he's looking so far like he would have been a first round talent. But I think all around, that's what Phoenix needs right now. Is just more bodies and they lost so much throughout these years, bro, and they really need a guy who can just help Devin Booker in any shape or way. I don't know. I think all around, I am looking forward to see what he can do. I think the only downside is he's not really high ball IQ kind of guy.
Mhm.
He's not going to be a Jokic, like is what I'm saying.
No, for sure.
Like he's not making
I
passes.
I just thought I picked him because of all the centers. I think even him as a rookie, he seemed the most versatile. I'm like, I'm hoping we see a little more from him.
Yeah, yeah, he could definitely be a very solid center for the Suns. But
I mean,
I
I
don't know.
hope because DeAndre was not it, bro.
I don't know. I honestly think he's one of the biggest deals of the draft. Because like to Phoenix, bro, that's basically like a free first round pick in all. All right. Do you want me to go next, Eugene, or do you want to go next?
It doesn't matter. Mine is another Suns player, so
Gotcha. I'll go next. I'm talking about. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Adu Fierro. I tried not to pick any guys that went to our teams, but I didn't see that he was traded to the Lakers, and I didn't provide a backup. So
I mean, it did happen only a couple days ago, but yeah.
Because I thought he was going to the Nets, and that's why I picked him mostly because he's for you those of you who don't know, out of Arkansas. He was the 36th pick. He's a 6'6" forward, bro. But he is probably one of the most athletic guys in the entire draft, bro. And like when I say like I mean the entire draft, bro. He looks like he could be like the most explosive player to come out of this class. And not only that, but he's also like so smart on defense. He just knows how to like get you to like put up either tough shots, a turnover. It looks like he just is instead of just guarding you and locking down like a Marcus Smart. It looks like he's getting more just creative with it and forcing you into a bad shot rather than just playing up onto you. And I feel like that's exciting for the Lakers is more defense. Like we brought it up in the beginning, but like a forward who's not only athletic can probably score for them, but also a defensive forward. It's something that they just been missing. It's just big guys, big guys who are reliable on both ends. Jackson Hayes isn't that. So I just feel like he could be exactly what the Lakers need. He didn't play in the summer league because he was still injured coming into the draft from his college time. But I feel like he could be exactly what the Lakers need, as in a rotation player. I don't think he's going to be an all-star, starting player, but I think rotationally coming off the bench, he could be that guy that like, okay, our starters are off, we won't choke the league. He's coming on the floor. He'll make sure they don't put up points. Even if we go cold, he'll make sure they go cold too. And that's kind of what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, based on your description, it sounds like something we need at least coming off the bench. So hopefully, he gets back from his injury and finds his way into a at least a bench rotation, so that we can provide our other players some rest. But yeah, based on what you're saying, it sounds good. And even for the Nets, like had he not been traded, it probably would have been even better for the Nets.
Yeah. And that's why I picked him originally, because I feel like on the Nets, he definitely would have probably gotten a lot more playing time, even with the injury. And like his weaknesses is his consistency around like on the offensive level. He's that's a risk with all these athletic guys that they rely on the athleticism so much that they can go cold pretty quickly. So on the Nets, I'm like, oh, he'll have time to figure that out. On the Lakers, he might not have time to figure that out.
I think there will be like a defense, all-in defense lineup, and I think he could very well be a part of it because explosive defender does sound enticing, especially I think for JJ Redick if they go that direction. But again, Lakers, if they're contending, I would think, he wouldn't see the floor all that much. But desperate times, if it gets to that point, they might see him.
Yeah, for sure.
So for my second round pick, originally drafted by the Warriors and is now on the Suns, coming from Kentucky, I got Kobe Brea. 6'7" or like 6'6" guard, something like that. Really good shooter, but lacks basically everything else. Like anything defensively, hustle. But I think with where the Suns are right now, they just need players, at least their star players, need players that can help them that can help boost their performance or like play off of each other. You know what I mean? Like I think what I'm trying to say is I think Kobe could be a good rotational perimeter shooter. You know what I mean? Like set him some screens, basically like a bench version of Steph Curry. Just run around some screens, put up some threes. He's pretty efficient from the field. He's 40%. I think 42% from the field and 44% from the three-point line. So solid player. I watched one game. He put up like 19, I think. But yeah, he's a good shooter, but just kind of lacks everything else. So hopefully for him, he can at least be on the Suns bench, maybe on a two-way, but we'll see. The Suns are in a very interesting place this season.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at him, he's a pure shooter, and the type that old heads would hate, but
yeah.
stat nerds would love. This man, it says he shot 72% of his field goal attempts from the 3-point line. That's a shooter right there. He was making 46.5% of his 3-pointers from his last 2 seasons in college. So yeah, I think he would have a solid role. Especially like I've not checked in with the Suns roster, but last I heard Grayson Allen was like their only shooter.
Mm.
So if at some point Grayson Allen is like, I don't know, traded or injured, I feel like this guy would serve that exact role.
Yeah, bro. I feel like for our listeners, if they don't believe Eugene is not kidding when he says he only has 3-point shooting.
like I was watching him play and I was like, yo, like this dude got a strap, but
literally that's it. And that, you know what? At this point, the Suns need anything they can get. So like I don't see that really hurting him that much. But later down the road, they might need more out of him. Like if this was like 2012, like the 2010s, he would be a starter, bro. He would be a JJ Redick in the corner, hands up. Like that's who he would be, and he would flourish. But in today's NBA, that type of player is basically non-existent. You need to have a second attribute, and I feel like that's his biggest downfall is that like he is an amazing 3-point shooter. Like, don't get me wrong, he's probably the best shooter in the draft. And he was the best shooter in college basketball. Like its entire like last 2 years he was there. He was the best shooter in college basketball. So like all around, I am excited to see how that will translate, especially for the Suns, who, like Vaughn said, Grayson Allen was apparently their only 3-point shooter. And not only that, but like they just need offense at this point, bro. Like it seemed like the Suns' biggest weakness is that they couldn't all produce at the same time. They were kind of taking turns being the guy on offense. If he can just produce at least 15 points a game and then just not be a hurt on defense, he might stick around for some time. It's just that, that's not really what teams want anymore. But all around, he might be putting up some crazy shots and making them. And like that's what I'm excited to see, bro. Because like his 3-point shooting capability is insane. All right. Any honorable mentions?
Not for the second round.
Yeah, I have nothing either. All around, solid picks. Let's get into our teams now. I'll go first just because all of my guys were undrafted. So the Nuggets have 3 rookies going into the season. All of them were not picked. Were all undrafted. We picked up. Never mind. I have the wrong guy pulled up. These are last year's rookies. But I just know it was 2 guys who were undrafted. Okay, no, it was 1 guy. It was Curtis Jones. So I don't think he's going to get playing time, to be honest. He's already on a 2-way contract. And not only that, but even though he had an impressive summer league, I don't think it's anything the Nuggets want. So he is a guard, but he's more of a guard in the sense of he's more of an offensive guy. So that's about it. He's almost like a lesser Jamal Murray. So he doesn't really have playmaking like that. And he doesn't really have defense like that. But he can get you about here. So I'm curious to see if he sticks around. But I don't know if he actually will. And that's our only guy. It was an undrafted guy who we signed to a 2-way contract.
Yeah, that sounds like a guy we're not going to see any bit of.
Yeah.
I can get in mine. We have 3 incoming rookies, so none of them I really knew about until I heard the pick. So the first one was 28th, Hugo Gonzalez from Spain, and this was a big head scratcher for me. He's very much just a prospect, 19 years old. I think they like that he's a big guard, a playmaker. What I really seen from him, he's kind of like baby Josh Giddey. He needs the ball in his hands. He's not a great shooter, just like Giddey wasn't really in his rookie year, especially. I don't know what the expectations are from him, really. I feel like of anyone they drafted, he would see the least playing time. I can't tell you if we're even going to see this guy 2 years from now, but seeing how we're probably not going to be all that great next year, maybe he does get a little bit of shots in garbage time. I don't really know. Everything from here on out is second rounders. Amari Williams with the 46th pick. He's a 7-foot center, which I already like. Unselfish. When he played at Kentucky, he tied the lead in assists. And he's known as a versatile defender. And I'm not gonna lie, this guy actually might be seen playing time. Only because we don't have any centers anymore. Luke Cornett is to the Spurs. Al Horford is probably not re-signing. Which leaves us with Xavier Tillman, who's like 6'8". So yeah, throw that 7-footer out there, bro. we could use anything at the big man right now. And the last one is Max Shulga with the 57th pick. He played in Ukraine and VCU, and basically he's a shooter. That's all he really does. Maybe he does see playing time because I don't know what it is, but Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and now Max Shulga. I don't know what it is, but white shooters on Boston apparently flourish.
Yeah. So I looked into all of our picks. So and that's how I found out that the guy I picked already was a Lakers pick. But I think all around, Amari Williams is your best pickup because the first rounder guy, he doesn't shoot. He's not getting playtime, bro. Joe Mazzulla is not playing that bad. If you can't shoot the 3 ball, you're out of there.
Respectfully.
And then Max, the Ukrainian guy, bro. I'm sorry. When I looked into him and I read the ESPN recap and I saw subpar athlete, I was like, okay, I gotta watch this guy's highlight. And he literally, I think subpar athlete is a little nice. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
That's so crazy.
No, he looks like an actual teacher playing ball with like his students. Like he does not move really.
He almost reminds me of Jokic, but at least with Jokic, it's like, oh no, that guy is an athlete. Like, okay, never mind, I was wrong. You know, you watch Jokic move and you're like, how is he an NBA star? This guy, you watch move and you say, how is he a basketball player in general, bro? Just because of the way he moves. But like Vaughn said, he's a white boy who can shoot. And you know what? I feel like that's all Boston really needs from their shooters, bro.
I have nothing to say after that. Nothing to add on. So moving on to the Lakers. We signed 5 rookies actually. Adu Thiero, who we already talked about, Eric Dixon, who signed a 2-way contract, and then the other 3, RJ Davis, Augustus Marchulionis, and Arthur Kaluma, all signed Exhibit 10 contracts. We talked about Adu already. I don't know who Eric Dixon is, but he was the leading scorer in the NCAA at some point. So, certified bucket getter. I don't know who RJ Davis is. Augustus Marchulionis won Conference Player of the Year twice. So, clearly he's somebody probably got to keep an eye on, you know, whether that's the Lakers or any other team, because clearly he's about that. And Arthur Kaluma, no idea who that is.
Do you think any of them are really going to get playing time?
Outside of Adu Thiero,
Yeah.
maybe Eric Dixon. Depends how he does in the G League. It's the leading scorer in the NCAA that's kind of like catching my eye, because you know that's not an easy thing to do. You know, lead all, like, be basically you're the best bucket getter in college. You know what I mean? So like, depending on how he does, you know, it could either be with the Lakers or with someone else. The other 3 probably not.
Yeah. Something to mention is Adu Thiero was the only drafted guy.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it really surprising that like they got 4 undrafted rookies. So I think the Lakers are trying to put some stock in their younger guys.
I was about to say too, because like we traded for them as well. You know what I mean? So like either Pelinka has something up his sleeve or he knows something nobody else knows.
Yeah. I mean, Adu Thiero, I already said I think he's going to be really fun for the Lakers. Eric Dixon, I mean, I think he's the only other guy I can realistically see getting some playing time, because he, like Eugene said, he's a bucket getter, and I just feel like right now that's kind of like, I feel like as a rookie if you can do that, especially like you can just show that you can contribute some way. I feel like that's gonna help him out a lot. But I feel like the biggest pickup and the guy that realistically we'll see at all is Eric Dixon. Just because. Oh, and Adu Thiero. But I feel like out of the other undrafted guys, I don't think they're gonna get him at all. Plus, Eric Dixon's, you know, he's 6'8". I feel like they need, like, if you notice, all the guys they picked up besides RJ Davis, I think is the only one who isn't. They're all pretty big guys, so it seems like they're putting a lot of stock into their forward development as well. Because even Arthur is 6'8", forward. Eric Dixon 6'8".
They getting ready for that LeBron retirement, bro.
Yeah. So it seems like they're trying to find a hidden gem. Because like, bro, one second rounder and then 4 undrafted guys, they're cooking something up behind the scenes.
Yeah. Also, like if you've picked up Austin Reeves, like undrafted, if you get those 4 great months of Dalton Connect, I think you're just thinking, oh, we could strike again.
Mhm.
And why not take that chance, especially if
They're
it's like
hoping for a Spurs like, scouting scouting thing.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Well, how do y'all feel about this draft overall? Just like the class. We kind of mentioned it before. Do you think they're underrated, overrated, perfectly rated, just right off the bat?
I think they're rated pretty highly, but I think that won't be a disappointment.
Yeah. I think it's on par with what everybody is saying.
Yeah.
I think it's just Cooper Flag is the attention grabber, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I like this is the first draft class I've been excited for the past few seasons.
This draft class is the reason why I promised to watch college basketball this season. Because it seems like they're producing some pretty good players again.
Mhm.
It's been international guys running drafts for a while now. Especially last season, it was all international guys, like the first, second pick. So I'm very excited to see what they can do. I think Cooper, obviously, that's going to be exciting. The Rookie of the Year is probably going to be boring, but I think people are underestimating how many good players are going to come out of this draft. So that's why it's kind of underrated. So people think it's only Cooper Flag.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that.
All right. Well, I think that's what we're gonna call it. So if you're listening to our audio format, make sure you give us that good 5 stars, leave a review. We're on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe there. We're also on all social media platforms, Aspen the Rock. So make sure you follow us for episode updates and all that good stuff. But until then, let us know what rookie excited for person who you think will do good things this season. And thank you for watching. We hope to see you again next week. All right.
I bet.
Well, let me get